Welcome to the Beyond the Bucket Show, a podcast centered around optimizing all life's buckets. We all have buckets we are balancing: coaching, entrepreneurial ventures, family, passion projects, and health. Let's all take this journey together and become bucket fillers. And here's your host, Chris McSwain.
All right, welcome back to Beyond the Buckets. We are not seeing double. We have two twins in the building. My good friends, Sarah and Ali. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for having us. So excited to be here.
A little bit more lively on the introduction there. Well, I don't know where to start, but we've had a lot of technical difficulties, but we finally figured those out. We were supposed to start this exactly 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, I almost left. I don't really know what I'm still doing here.
We are here. So you needed your sister to join you on the show, but we're glad to have you. What's the fun fact about you that most people wouldn't even know? I know you know that question because
I know, and I've been losing sleep over that question because my go-to fun fact is that I have an identical twin sister, which obviously is not a very fun fact right now.
It's kind of fun.
I love, since it's on today, the Women's College World Series softball. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite things to watch on TV, which I didn't really play softball past the age of 8.
Yep.
So you wouldn't really suspect that from me, I guess. I'd rather watch that than almost any other sporting event on TV, minus March Madness.
I love women's softball. I've always watched it, even when I was younger. Maybe because Jenny Finch was like the pitcher.
Yep.
I remember when she struck out Alex Rodriguez, that ESPN did this thing, and I just thought that was like the coolest thing.
It was.
Because he was like the best baseball player at the time.
I think she struck out Albert Pujols at one point too. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
But I thought I saw that
and
too.
I just thought that was incredible that she could throw that fast from that short of a distance. But yeah. I like it.
I think it's so fun and so competitive, and it's just like I get so enthralled in those games.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, sports science, I remember like back when we were in high school, did a thing of like the hardest thing to do in sports, and it was like hit a rise pitch from softball, like the hardest thing to do in all of sports.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep, because the baseball is always trending down.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, the baseball is going to drop, and the softball continues to rise.
Right.
Which
Tonight, some of the change-ups they were throwing, I was like, holy moly.
Yeah. Well, in a sport like softball, it's like one play can like make or break the game.
Yeah.
You know?
I literally
So
walked into the kitchen
intense.
to get something out of the fridge to drink, and somebody hit a double, and I was like, see,
missed it.
that's not gonna happen in the NBA finals until the fourth quarter,
No.
but that could happen at any point during a softball game.
The crazy part is in the softball too. Back in the day, I feel like the pitchers would have no hitters all the time. Now the hitters are actually really, really good too.
The game is
And
evolving.
it really
It's so
is.
athletic. It's even more fun to watch than like when we used to watch it when we were kids with dad.
Yeah.
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 The women's in sports has really evolved overall. I mean, you're wearing your WNBA as well as Los Gatos colors. And you're wearing your Valkyries colors. For those that don't know, I probably should have did it in the intro, but I was a little flustered trying to get all this tech together. But Ali is a high-level high school and college official, and Sarah is the varsity coach at Los Gatos. This is your third time on the show.
Third time. Probably worn orange every single time. It's my favorite color.
I think so. I'm getting sick of the orange.
Yeah.
But
my coworkers are telling me now that like I'm the only person they know that like rocks orange. And I'm like, oh, I will continue to be the only person you know that rocks orange.
For me, it's your shoes because you have like 25 pairs of orange Nikes.
Probably.
Yeah. Your husband wears orange too a lot too. So
I've brought him over to my
you
side.
have,
Yeah.
yes.
He likes it.
But Ali, let me ask you, being an official, first of all, you're taking a break just because you had back surgery, but you're doing great. You look great, and
Thanks.
hopefully you feel great.
Yep.
And you feel better than you did before.
Working on it.
But what were some of the things like the last season that kind of really caught your eye in terms of just the dynamics of basketball, the dynamics of coaches being involved, players? What did you just notice? What is one thing or two things?
It's an interesting time to be an official, I think, because there's not enough of us, and there's not enough, and the ones that we do have maybe aren't the best quality because I think at one point right after COVID, there was some stat that the average age of a high school basketball official was 65.
Wow.
I could be totally misquoting that, but it's something similar to that like it's just too old. And so, but then like, like how many of your friends want to get yelled at on their night off?
None.
So I've recruited people I've had people come and they do like one season. They're like, nah, it's just not for me. Or like the money's not worth it.
To get yelled at.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's not.
Well, and every time you blow your whistle, you're wrong.
Right. So every single time you blow your whistle, somebody thinks that you don't know jack shit.
Yeah.
It could be an out of bounds call that everyone in the gym saw. Super easy, went off her leg, and somewhere someone thinks you're not credible.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't have thin skin. It doesn't bother me when people yell at me. A few years ago, I reffed my first NorCal final. And it was up in Lincoln, California, like 2 hours past Sacramento on a Tuesday night, because they're always on Tuesday nights in NorCal finals. And I remember a packed gym, they played Oakland Tech. And there was not big bleachers, big gym, like independent size, and not an open seat. And the student section of the home team ended up losing. Oakland Tech came back in the second half. It was really back and forth. Awesome game. So much fun to be a part of. But the home section cheering squad gave me a ref you suck chant. And I had to like hold back my smile. And I called my dad on the way home, who used to ref for like 20 years, and I called him and I was like, Dad, I made it. I feel like I finally made it as an official because I got a ref you suck chant. And like, I think that's funny. Most people don't find that funny.
I would cry.
Yeah. And so I think that, just a long way to answer your question, this year specifically, it's just, I think that players are out of control with attitudes. And I think that that's because their parents are in the stands screaming that they don't do anything wrong. And they're telling them to do things that their coach is not telling them to do. And so then when they get, or the other side of that is they're watching these trainers on YouTube who actually don't know footwork and can't teach it. And then they put on these neon green or neon pink tennis shoes that are just drawing as much attention to your feet as could be possible. And then you get all the feet shuffles and the travels and the extra steps and the Euros that aren't real Euros and, you know, all that stuff. So then every time you blow a call against a kid, not every time, I shouldn't say every time, but there are times where, you know, the kids throw their hands up and it's like, they can't believe it. They've been watching Draymond Green so much. And it's like, it's exhausting. It's getting exhausting. The high school level is getting exhausting because I just don't think people are being held as accountable as they should be. And it stems from coaches who are just screaming at officials. I would say that 75% of the games I do at the high school level, in like the lower, like we'll say majority of the public schools, the coaches don't coach. They just scream at officials because maybe they don't know how to make in-game adjustments. Maybe they're in over their heads. Maybe they're really, really emotionally invested, which I get.
They also probably don't ask questions, which.
Right. But I have seen so many coaches who are trying to not lose instead of trying to win. And they talk to me more than they talk to their kids. And it's like, how do you expect to win if you're not coaching your kids through the tough moments of a game? Obviously, I don't know. I'm not a coach. You guys can speak to that more than I can. Yeah. But I just think it's, as a whole, it's not a very respectful place to be.
No, I just think this is the time that we're in. There's a lot of tension in the world. Totally. There's a lot of voices that all seem to want to be heard now, which is a good thing too, because people that didn't have a voice now may potentially be able to say what's on their mind or get it out there because of social media and things like that. But at the same time, I think it's a respect factor that's kind of been lost. I think, I'm as hard as anybody on an official during a game, but after the game, it's just a game. And so that's where I think, you have to have that mutual respect with, hey, we're trying to battle for our team and get the proper calls that we see in our eyes. Sure. But it's a constant discussion and a conversation, and you don't have to agree. And you can agree if the official comes back or the coach says something that is actually that kind of makes sense to me. Yeah, you're right. But that isn't always the case anymore, and I think that's the big thing. And this is coming from a dad that was literally yelling at an umpire the other day in my son's championship, a AA baseball game when he was pitching. Now, my son was getting squeezed on the strike zone, okay? And so in the double, just to lay this out, okay? I didn't say anything for like the first couple, and the previous game, we had a great umpire. Now, the umpires are not adults. The umpires are kids.
It's the same for my daughter's softball league.
So, you have to give these kids grace. But the one kid was awesome all year, and they put him on the bases. The one kid that was awful all year, they put him behind the plate. And it's not his fault. In a championship game, I feel like adults, you probably need to step in and take over this situation instead of putting kids in it. Anyway,
Definitely.
my son struck out. He pitched 2 innings the previous game in the semifinals, struck out 6 in 2 innings. Okay. And so then he now walked 6. He hasn't done that all season. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, and he's not being consistent. So I wait for the half inning, another pitcher, and he's calling strikes for the other guy. I'm like, are you kidding me? Be consistent. And, but you know, I kind of lost myself in the moment of that too. And I'm just like, man, none of this really even matters. And we ended up winning on a walk-off, but it didn't even matter. None of that even matters. But then it did matter at the same time. So, yeah.
So I take 2 things from that. One, I know the answer already, but would you say that coaches mostly just want consistency from officials?
Yes.
That's all we want, right?
Yes.
And I get it because I feel inconsistent from myself sometimes. I'm a human being, right? Depending on my day, I might have an inconsistent call. It's just life, right? Sometimes my partners are really inconsistent.
That part, because you're also depending on somebody else.
It's usually, especially in like a 3-person crew. I like to pregame for a 3-person crew. Like first one, we all got to love it. First foul that one of us calls, we all got to love it because once you introduce it, you can't take it away.
Right.
Yeah.
So if my partner first call of the game is like a ticky-tack little hand check, guess what? We have to call those ticky-tack little hand checks all night because you introduced it.
Or you're inconsistent and that lowers your credibility.
Exactly. Right off the bat. So my thing is first, if possible, it's not always possible, but if possible, first foul of the game needs to be everyone in the gym saw it and somewhat agrees with it. Mm-hmm. Because consistency is key.
Right.
Second thing is when you have an emotional stake in the game. As officials, we don't.
You shouldn't.
The one time I got accused of cheating and being like a home school team was when officiating at Del Mar, where I went to high school. We all went there.
We all went there.
I'm officiating at Del Mar. They're playing Willow Glen or something. And some parent from Del Mar is in the stands going, what'd you do? Go to Willow Glen? Like, actually, if only you knew. I don't give that any attention, right? But it's just so funny. Like when you have an emotional stake in the game, whether you're coaching or playing, or your kids are playing, or your friends' kids, or whatever, and you care about the outcome, it makes you behave differently sometimes. Yeah. But I think people forget that we actually don't care. I don't care who wins that game. Yeah, I don't care who wins any game that I'm a part of because I'm not supposed to. Right. I can't. As soon as I begin to care about who wins, then I can't do my job correctly. Yeah. And consistently.
I like to tell parents at Los Gatos that too, because I think sometimes the misconception there is that people really care about Los Gatos. Like sometimes our parents think, well, refs hate us or other coaches hate us. And it's like, they don't care.
They really don't care about you.
So I try to remind our parents of that. It's like sometimes in the moment, things feel really stressful and they feel really heavy and they feel like people are out to get us. But like,
I also think the other side of that too is like, I think people forget that officials are human beings with feelings and their own emotions because I'm not saying it's conscious, but if you were screamed at 4 times going down the floor, 4 times in a row by the same coach or by the same dad in the stands or whatever, you might subconsciously give that next 50-50 call to the other team. Yeah. Whether you mean to or not. Shit, maybe you do mean to. I don't know. Yep. I don't do that consciously, but I'm saying that I'm a human being. And so maybe in my subconscious somewhere, maybe I do make that decision. I don't know. But that's why I think it's important for people not to forget that just because you have stripes on doesn't mean you're not a human being. Like me, I'm a mother. I have 3 children. I'm a wife. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I'm a basketball fan. I'm not just an official wearing stripes that you can scream at.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I like one kid, I have 2 children, one kid better than the other, depending on the day. It doesn't mean that I don't love them both. Sure. But at the end of the day, I like that one better because
I got 3 feral little girls that are hard. Yeah. And some days I look at Ryan after they go to bed and I'm like, God, I'm so glad that they're not awake right now. You know, it has been, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. So the other thing is that I'm with my children all the time. So when I do go and officiate, like that's my outlet. That's my thing that I do for me because I love it.
And to stay involved in basketball.
Totally. Get the best seat in the house and you don't care who wins.
Yeah. You're
can't beat it. And you make money. I make more money than both of you guys do. That's for that one game.
Yeah.
Maybe not at the high school level. Maybe not you, but because you're full time. But
I'm not.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like it's just one of those things where like your average coach who's making a $2,500 stipend.
I forget to get paid every year.
Right.
It comes. I'm like,
But also when you break it down by hour, it's like nothing when you do those stipends. And like
that's why we don't break. It
I
down by
get
hour.
paid to leave the game at the gym. I show up 30 minutes before it starts, minimum, but 30 minutes before it starts. As soon as that tip is done, I'm out. I don't have to stay in post game. I don't have to clean up a gym. I still get paid.
They don't keep you up at night.
Do you have to clean up the gym?
No, Los Gatos is so lucky. We have like
you guys are lucky, but most people have to clean up their own gyms.
We try to help other schools. Like if they're putting the chairs away, we'll put our own away.
None of the WCL schools have to clean up the gym, but I remember at the public school we used to have to clean up the gym. But Los Gatos is really not a public school.
No, it's not. It's a private public.
Definitely a private.
Private public.
It is.
So like,
sorry, that was long-winded.
No. Well, both of your husbands are in basketball. Your dad was in basketball. Your brother is in basketball. You guys were in basketball. What was it like growing up in your family with all the basketball?
We just were like
unconscious.
Yeah, we just were not allowed to. I remember Allie tried to not play basketball one year, and it just was like it wasn't even a question. It wasn't even a possibility. It was like
I think my dad laughed at me.
Yeah,
when I was like, I don't think I'm going to play next year. He's like, okay, sure.
Yeah,
you want to sleep in this house? Like,
what year was this?
Sophomore year.
Yeah,
at Delmar. Because freshman year, Sarah and I were on varsity. I
did not play.
I was the 5. I was the center on our team because I was the tallest and strongest. Our team was not good. We won 2 games. We were 2-21.
Bookend year.
Bookend. We won our first non-league game. We lost 21 in a row. We won our last game of the season.
Went out on a high.
2-21. Every center in our league that year was a senior. And every center in our league that year whooped my ass.
Oh, yeah.
Every single night.
It was a rough year.
Gunderson had 3 girls that were seniors and better than me. So I cried on the way home from games almost every night because we'd lose and I would get destroyed in the post.
Yeah, you played a lot.
And I played a lot of minutes. Not tooting my own horn. It was just what it was. And it was not fun. It was not fun at all. And I remember crying on the way home from games after getting my ass kicked and having bruises all over my body or fouling out because I just couldn't hang.
Yeah. And you liked volleyball more. That was
I did. I always loved volleyball more.
Yeah. Yeah. And you liked volleyball more. I like basketball more. But yeah, we always had to play on the same teams because we were raised by a single dad. So it was like, well, I can only take you to one practice or one. So it was like whatever team we were playing for, we had to agree. And that's what we played for.
But we never had any issues with that. That part was fun.
No, we liked the same things. Yeah.
But basketball was always going to be.
Yeah.
I don't even think we always wanted to play because we grew up watching Jed play and being in the gym with our dad coaching. And so we were excited when it was our turn. But yeah, then we got involved in other things. And as we got older, I didn't want to play, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad he made me.
I mean, sometimes the things that you want to do the least is what is
you benefit from
and what you benefit from the most.
For sure.
So, I mean, everybody can say that about their life is like, I really didn't want to do that, but it ended up being the best thing for you. And recently, we all listen. Well, you can't listen to podcasts.
My children scream in the car.
Podcasts a lot. And one of the things was like the hard thing is never the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Like the hard thing is the best thing for you no matter what. And so like when my alarm goes off at 5:30 every morning, I have a decision to make. Either that decision is going to be I hit the snooze and go back to bed, or I get my butt up and come in here and try to work out. And that's what I do in the beginning. So then the rest of my day is so much more impactful, and I just feel a lot better when I come when I do that. And then also I'm like your husband is like that. Your husband is a little bit more meticulous and detailed, but he's slow with everything.
It's Giles time.
He's very slow.
You speed him up, he slows you down. It's perfect.
Yeah. No doubt. But like everything is like regimented. Like my night routine is crazy. I'm putting everything together for the next day. So it's easier for me to actually, this is all I need to do because everything else is done. What is something that you do personally for your daily routine? What is it, and how do you make sure you're the best version of yourself?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think I feel like I wear a lot of hats, like depending on what I'm doing. It could be basketball coach or mom or like my actual job, and then wife, or like all the things in between. And so no matter where I am, I feel like I should be somewhere else, or I just feel like I'm not able to give like my full authentic self. So it could be like 2 days go by where I don't feel like I do a single thing for myself.
I feel like a lot of moms are like that.
Yeah. And it's like when I'm at my job, I miss my kids. But when I'm with my kids, sometimes I'm like, oh, I just want to be at work. And I always want to be coaching basketball. And so, but I like try to blur the lines a little bit. Like maybe I bring my kids to the office, or I bring my kids to the gym, or, you know, like maybe I watch film with McKenna, or, you know, things like that. And so like there are definitely days go by. But like I just discovered I rediscover it every couple months how much I love reading. And so one of my dear friends gave me a Kindle like maybe a year ago, 2 years ago. And so like every once in a while I'll go through like spurts where I don't watch any TV. I just read a lot, and I love to read. And so I'm in a flow of that right now where like, even if I only get 5 minutes on my Kindle, it's like, oh, that like just kind of rejuvenates me a little bit. And I've been reading before bed, which helps me sleep as opposed to like watching TV before bed. So that's like better. I'm not a very good sleeper.
Do you miss the like actual turning of the pages?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not even a little bit. I used to read on my phone a lot. Like before Kindles were a thing with like the Apple books.
Right.
And so now, like love the Kindle app, even on my phone, even if I have 5 minutes here and there, like I just.
It still makes it look like a book, doesn't it?
Yeah. You just like tap to turn the pages. It's the best. But yeah, so like just even if it's just that, I'm having a muscle strain issue that's been going on for like 5 weeks. So I haven't been able to work out at all. And that's been really tough. But I do play basketball once a week. And so that's also something else that I definitely do for me.
Nice. Where are you playing at?
It's like a women's league.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's really competitive. It's like a draft process, and all the teams are supposed to be even. Yeah.
What round did you go in?
I feel like this time I actually maybe got drafted high. A lot of like really good players like kind of opted out.
You have no clue? They don't tell you?
I think I'm up there, to be honest. But my career high,
because they don't have, it's a lot of Asian girls playing the league, so they're small. So they appreciate Sarah's height and her rebounding ability.
Yeah.
So she does go pretty high, which is warranted. You should go that high. But like, I've seen the league.
I feel like I can shoot again. It's like all the things are like, since having a child, but like like every once in a while I get a glimpse of like 2008, 2009 Sarah, and I'm like, watch out. But it's really fun.
That's great.
Awesome. Yeah. What about you? What's your routine other than the kids? Man. I don't want to hear about them right now.
It's my full-time job. So there are weeks that go by that I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so engulfed in these kids. I feel like I'm on a hamster wheel. You know, sometimes like, because my youngest just turned 2 and my oldest isn't even 7 yet. So it's just like constant. I try to coach the teams. My oldest plays sports now. So like last fall was the first one. I volunteered as the assistant soccer coach. Okay. I played soccer when I was a kid. I could do it. I could definitely coach a 7-year-old soccer team. I volunteered to coach. They put me with a woman who was already coaching in the league. So I became her assistant, which was great. And then in the winter,
pull the microphones up just in case.
In the winter, I did the basketball league at Calvary Church. Your daughter played. It's great. Yes. And so a friend of ours had told us about that league. Amaya was thinking that she didn't want to play basketball at all. That's how she'd been for the first 5 years of her life. Like, no way, no basketball, too much exposure, I guess. And then she decided she wanted to play. So I said, great, I'll sign you up. So we signed up. I coached the team. It was so much fun. I thought we would, but she does. She actually told me last week, she said, Mommy, I want to play basketball again. I want you to be my coach. I'm like, okay, girl, let's do it.
She's coming to camp at Los Gatos next week.
Oh, and then in the spring for softball, I knew I was going to have back surgery. And I don't know enough about softball to coach the team, but I do know her coach, mom I met through her school, and she's great. She played on her team last year. Wonderful. Really like her. So I wasn't going to like officially sign up to help, but I'm always like, whatever you need. And I ended up kind of being like the team mom in the dugout this year of like, okay, it's, making sure they know their batting order and making sure they have their helmets on because they're still little, making sure their helmets are on when they're ready. They need it's a league rule. They have to wear fielding masks. So like, okay, girls, get your mask, get your gloves, get out there. Coach Jess will tell you where you're supposed to be, kind of a thing. And like making sure they know who's in the hole and who's on deck. And as they're coming in from the field, like who's up first so that they can go, helping the girl get the catcher's gear on, like all that kind of stuff, which I enjoyed. So that's
what about your routine?
I know. I was going to ask that too. I'm like,
Chris, my husband would kill me if I didn't say that I'm on my phone all the time. I'm just like playing stupid, like mindless games on my phone because I don't have to think when I do it versus like the endless mental load that is always going through my brain.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I don't even have anything to say about myself because I'm so entrenched in being a mom these days. During basketball season, it's great because I get to ref.
That's your thing.
Yeah. And I get to go to my husband's games. Ryan's a coach. He gets paid full time to coach basketball. It's wonderful. We love it. And I do his scorebook, which I love doing. Learned how to do the book when I was 9 because my dad refed my whole life. Yep. I'd go to games with him. They'd have nobody to do it. I basically taught myself how to do it. He'd call me out of the stands to come down and do the table. So I love it. Yeah. And the best part about that too, just on a totally other note, is that I get to watch refs up close who don't know me.
Oh yeah, it's a different association.
Yeah, it's a different association where he coaches versus where I work. And so most of them don't know me. And like not this year, the year before was the rule change, right? With the 5 fouls.
Yeah. Are you texting Paul? Like, hey.
Oh, sometimes if it's really bad, I do. I try not to be that person, but sometimes I do send Paul a quick little text or a picture like on positioning.
Who is this?
Yeah. But the year of the rule change was Ryan's first year at Menlo. And so during one of the scrimmages, I politely told the ref they were wrong about but I said it and like, wasn't there a rule change this year about something? No, that's not true. I was like, okay. And I just moved on. I'm not going to be like, I know you're wrong, because who wants to hear that? And also I'm never going to be that person.
You would.
But
I might. Yeah. I'd be like, especially if it was a disadvantage for me or my team. I'd be like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah. But like there was a couple things that I witnessed this year that in my opinion were really a lack of integrity. And those are the things that I'll relay.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like a mercy rule game. Ryan's team was up 40 in the fourth quarter. One of the officials decided that every held ball, every jump ball was going to go to the visiting team. Every single one.
That's not your
because of the score. And I was like, what? And I keep track of it in the book, so I'm trying to tell him it's home, it's white ball, blah, blah, blah.
He made that decision on his own.
Literally made that decision on his own, and his partner went with it. So not only was one person making a really bad decision with a lack of integrity, someone else went along with it. And that's the kind of stuff that makes my blood boil, because it gives all of us officials a bad name.
Okay, so question for you. Your team's down by 40 and the ref is giving you the ball every time. How do you feel about that?
I mean, just play the game. This is all get up out of here. Hopefully we're never.
The clock's already running.
Don't patronize me. It's not our ball. I don't want it. The score is what it is. You're not going to help.
What about the bench kids for the home team that aren't the reason you're up 40?
Yeah.
Give them the ball.
Yeah. And
I also think you don't get to make your own rules here.
Yes, you can't make your own rules. There's a time, I think I said this on another podcast, I can't remember, but we were at a tournament. It wasn't normal, our normal association. It wasn't in the area. And we had gray uniforms.
Oh,
and so you can, it had to be like or similar to the torso of the jersey. The gray was a little bit off.
Okay.
It wasn't.
You're talking about an undershirt?
Yes,
okay.
Undershirt. Okay. And
were you wearing them as your home jerseys or your away jerseys?
Away.
Okay.
It was a tournament, but we were away.
Right.
We were wearing gray.
Yeah.
And so we were wearing dark gray jerseys, but the gray was just a little bit lighter. And he made
him take them off, right?
And I had the rule book. He gave me a technical before the game. I said, here is the rule book. I will show you the rule. It said similar, like or similar to the torso of the jersey. Mm-hmm. This is gray. Okay. They don't match specifically. I'm glad they changed the rule that now you can wear black, as long as everybody else is wearing black.
And they did that because of situations like that, and the greens and the maroons and all that
orange
stuff. Right.
And so
orange.
You're adjudicating this rule incorrectly. I'm trying to show you that it's correct.
Yeah.
In the book, and you don't want to listen to me. Nope, coach, us enough.
Yeah, those are the other officials that give all of us a bad name.
That's
because you're not willing to listen. You're not willing to listen. You're not willing to be wrong, and then it's all about you.
Yeah. Well, the likelihood of the two of you being on the same page after that is pretty low.
Exactly.
So that's a shitty way to start a game.
It was very low.
But
I didn't say anything.
But those are the kind of people that make me not want to do it.
And more importantly, now you're making the young ladies on the team take off their undershirts. And
right.
Now they don't have an undershirt, and you're making
exposed.
Them feel uncomfortable out there on the floor. And that to me is egregious and should not, their comfortability is probably the most important thing.
Should be. Absolutely.
If it's not,
athlete well-being should be number one.
The outcome of the game. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like a metal rod in their head that they can use and it can hit another player.
Which also
earrings. But
clips are fine now too. So it's one of those things that
are they fine?
I think not bobby pins, because those can slide out, but clips that clip in are fine.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
I think
I'm going to use that because they tell
that was just last.
I want to take them out all the time.
Yeah, no, I should know. I'm pretty sure that was just last year, maybe the year before.
I'll have to check.
I can't keep up on when the rules change. I just know what they are now. Mm-hmm. But let's say that guy did feel really, really strongly that you were breaking a rule. The way that he could have gone about it, in my opinion, I don't know everything, but hey, coach, those aren't quite the right color. I'm going to let it slide today because I don't feel like I need to make all of your girls take their shirts off. But just so moving forward, I would try to get some different undershirts for those jerseys.
Yeah. Like this.
Again, I'm going to let it go today because I've done that. I've had a JV girls game. She's wearing a black undershirt underneath her white jersey. She's the only one. And I go to the assistant during a timeout or at halftime. I'm like, hey, just so you know, I should have made her take that off. I'm never going to make a girl take a shirt off.
Yeah.
But moving forward, you might not get an official who's as understanding in this moment as I am right now.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny that you say that because 2 years ago.
Just don't be surprised if you let her wear that shirt again if you guys get a T.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Well, 2 years ago, when I was explaining to my JV team the shirts they could wear, they all misunderstood somehow and thought that you could wear black under white. So definitely my fault. Because if you all misunderstood what I was saying, that's definitely my fault. But they show up for the first home game and they all have black shirts under their white jersey. And I'm like, oh no. So I go up to the ref and I'm like, hey, I forget who it was. I must have known them. And I was like, I'm so sorry. This is on me. I somehow said something or made them believe, is it okay if they just wear these for today? And I promise it'll never happen again. And bless whoever the ref was like, Sarah, no problem.
Yeah.
I think don't let them do it again.
I think we're more likely to let JV stuff go too.
Fair.
First team, all common sense. You have to think about it. Yeah, that kind of makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But some of this stuff doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are some of the things that we could do to change the ref experience? Because if we don't have you guys, I've said this multiple times, then we don't have a game, and we need to get.
I think that you guys are fine, especially you after the million conversations we've had since you started at Los Gatos. You got to ask more questions than statements, because statements I'm not answering.
Yeah.
If you make a and pick and choose. It can't be every time I run past you.
I heard you talking about this on your podcast recently.
You cannot have something negative to say or have some question every single time I'm near you, because then guess what? You're distracting me from doing the job that I'm supposed to be doing.
Well, and
pick and choose.
Yeah.
It can't all be this important to you.
Yeah, because you get that at home with all the kids.
I was just about to say, you have to pick and choose with the kids too.
It's exactly that. You gotta keep on talking.
Right. But there are coaches that I'm not going to drop any names, but I can just see them in my brain.
Drop the names. Just drop them.
No way. There's one in Sarah's league. One specific one in Sarah's league that
is there any in our league?
You know what? I had one from your league this year that I had an issue with that I've never had an issue with before in the 5 times before that when I officiated his team. So, yeah, I'm sure you can figure it out.
Interesting.
But anyways, it can't.
Is it me?
No. You're fired up and I love it, but you don't take it too far and you always apologize after, which I don't take it personal. That's the other thing is I don't need an apology because I'm not taking it personal. I know you're not directing that at me, but if I'm table side and I'm the lead and I have run past you 6 times in a row and all 6 times, number one, there are no questions being asked, but you're screaming, that's a foul down there. That's a travel. Open your eyes. Be consistent. No, call it both ways. Whatever it is, I have literally stopped listening to you halfway through the first quarter.
Give me the top 3 things that you could say that is the best thing to say.
Hey, ref, next dead ball, can I ask you a question?
It's a good one.
Or at halftime, can we chat about that last play? Something like that. What'd you
see on that one?
And be specific. Don't say she's pushing.
Do you what'd you see on that one?
Yeah. What'd you see? Because it's my opinion on a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's my angle. Maybe my angle is different than yours. So what you saw is not what I saw.
Yeah.
Right. Or I just think.
I think coaches should use more lingo. You've taught me this because I've asked you questions and you've been doing my book before and you'll whisper something ask him this, that, and the other thing. And you the words you use are straight from the rule book.
You got to use words from the rule book.
And you use the words displacement and use the words primary defender and the words that are in the rule book that you guys study and know, because it just also gives you more credibility to be oh, she knows I'm
and
supposed
it's more
to be
likely to catch my attention when I'm running by versus that's a travel.
Yeah.
But be specific and use the right words, because if you say that girl pushes every single time. What girl? What number? When does she push?
I would say
42 pushes every time 11 drives.
Is that illegal or marginal contact?
Right.
That's one that I got from Mark.
That's a good one.
Is that illegal or marginal contact?
Words from the book.
Yes.
Those are words from the book. Those are words that we study and they make us study. Those are we have to take a rules test. Those are in our rules test.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah.
And that
words
also
from the book, and not every single time. Pick your battles.
Well, I think that shows a ref too. Hey, I know what you should be looking at. Do you know what you should be looking at?
Yeah.
I'm
holding you accountable because I actually know the rules.
Or I'll say, was that the leader of the trails call?
Yeah. Love that. Why are you ball watching right there?
Yeah.
I know you're not supposed to be looking at
Was
the
that
ball.
the leader of the trail?
Yeah.
You're 45 feet away from the basket, so I know that can't be your call.
Not necessarily, but most of the time, yes.
Then if they say, well, they didn't have a good angle, and that's the reason why I called it, and that's why I held my whistle. Like,
right.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
All right. You got it.
Right.
And I also, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
I also really like, refs have done this a couple times. Like, you're right, Sarah, I missed that one. And that just gives you a lot of credibility for the future. You can't say it every single time. You can't come.
Don't miss it.
Yes. We'll get better.
Yeah.
But you can't say that to me 4 times in a game. But
Yeah.
if you said it to me once, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to be like, okay.
Has Sarah ever told you about the tea our dad got once when he was coaching? There's plenty. He asked a ref once. He said, "Can I get a tea for what I'm thinking?" And the ref was like, "No." He's like, "Good, because I think you suck." And then he teed him and he said, "I thought you said I couldn't get a tea for what I was thinking." And the ref just looked at him like, "You've got to be kidding me."
It's like, yeah, but you said it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So Joe Coolici.
Yeah.
Who's worse, Giles or Coop?
For what?
With the refs.
Oh, my husband is relentless.
Oh, I mean, Giles did get tossed from a game this year.
That
so
was unwarranted.
I think so.
That was the same guy that made up his own rule about the jump balls. So
Yeah.
that just tells you everything you need to know about that guy.
Giles is sneaky. On the
He's
refs.
passive aggressive and
He's
quiet.
so quiet. So the
Mhm.
things that he says, sometimes you're like,
Yeah.
he digs deep with those. Yeah.
Yeah. But Ryan just is a yeller.
And Giles waits till the
And
ref's
he's-
running right in front of him.
Ryan's a stomper.
You
So
used to be
he's
a
calmed
stomper.
down a lot,
I don't
especially
stomp
since
anymore.
coaching
Me
girls. Ryan has calmed down a lot. But
I'm 40 years old. I don't want to hurt my leg.
I bruised my heel one time really bad stomping. And so I don't stomp anymore.
Also, don't wear hard bottom shoes anymore.
No more.
so
I know it's all about the kicks now.
that was a good thing from COVID.
Mm.
No more.
nobody dresses up. So interesting. We still have to dress up as officials.
Yeah.
For my JUCO games, we still have to dress business casual when we get there. Nobody sees me. I walk in, we have to be there 90 minutes early,
Jeez.
75 to 90 minutes early. I like to be the first one on the crew to get there because I like to figure out where I'm going. I like to be the first one in the locker room so I can change by myself. But when I get in the gym, the home team's sometimes not even there yet, let alone a visiting team. I find an athletic director or the head coach or whatever to let me into the room that we're in, and then I change. So the only person that has seen me dress nice is whoever let me in the room.
Yeah.
Still got to do it. So
High
it
school
goes in
refs
our
still do
report. Yeah.
No, they wear their black pants and their jacket.
Yeah, a lot of
For high school games, we
Mark-
used to change for JUCO games, but since COVID, we
Some
don't.
people
I mean,
like to
for
change.
WCL games.
Yeah.
But-
Also, how much stuff is in that little the suitcase? It's like
Yeah.
a
What's
carry-on.
in your bag? What's in
It's
your
a
backpack?
carry-on. It's a carry-on.
She does.
for
She has a
most
rolly
people.
I have,
suitcase.
and it's
know.
heavy
I
too.
was
My
like,
shit is heavy.
What is in
Okay,
there?
Hit us
so
with
hear
it.
me out. It's because every time I've ever needed something, I put it in and I don't take it out.
Like,
I have a sewing kit. 'Cause one time my button popped off my pants.
what else you got in there?
Tums, because I get tummy aches a lot. I have you have extra stuff.
Tums don't take a lot of
No,
stuff.
little
over 30
shit.
I have feminine hygiene products. I have chapstick. I have gum. I have cough
Those
drops.
are all small things.
I know. I have extra clothes, but all small things add up to be big things.
And you have a
I have-
jewelry case.
I
don't
have, yeah, I have a place that I put my jewelry. I have a place that I keep all my extra whistles, like a bag for all my whistles. What else do I have? It's been so long since I opened my bag. I have extra socks. I have extra leggings. I have extra pants. I have an extra shirt. I have a whole extra set. You never know what someone's going to forget.
Her shirt
Extra
a couple
shoes?
times.
I do not. I
You better
don't
keep them
like
extra
my
shoes.
second pair of shoes.
Well, you need them
So
just in case you run out
one
of
time
them.
I had to wear.
Run out of them hokas.
Royal, Reggie's son.
Yeah.
One time I had to wear one of his shirts because I had a JUCO game in the afternoon and a high school game in the evening.
Packed the wrong shirt.
And I went home in between and I didn't think I was going to have time to go home, but I did. And so I grabbed my high school shirt out of my bag, out of my roller, and brought it upstairs thinking I was going to change, and I didn't.
So you left it upstairs.
So I left it upstairs, and all I did was take off because I left my same undershirt on. So I took off my JUCO shirt.
So did you go to take your jacket off and you're like, oh shit, I don't know.
I went to get dressed. I was like, because I always get halfway dressed for high school games because I like heat my legs. And that's the other thing is I have like my heating pad. I have my massage gun. Because my legs are old. My back is old. I've had back problems since I had kids. So I have my gun. I have my heating pad, my like cream that I put on, like all kinds of stuff in there. And so I was going to so I always wear like most of my unders, but not all the way dressed. So I went to put my shirt on and I didn't have it. And I was like, well, actually, I think right before I opened my bag, Ryan called me. He's like, your shirt is here. And I was at St. Francis. So I was not close to home. And I was like, no, it's my other shirt. I took it off. I like left it there. He's like, no, it's your high school shirt. And so I like go through my bag and I usually have an extra. Didn't that day because I packed for 2 games. I didn't bring extra stuff. So it was a tournament. He was doing the game before me. And I was like,
sweaty shirt?
Yeah, I was like, no. Well, I was like, yeah, I would have. You got to do what you got to do. Well, and so I was like, I need to borrow your shirt when you're done. He's like, I have an extra one in my car. I wore it yesterday. I was like, I don't care. I'll take it. So we walked to his car after and he gave it to me. Thank God it's a brotherhood that I'm in.
In your carry-on bag. Yeah. Could you make it through TSA without checking the bag?
No, because I always have water in it. But I also like have hand sanitizer, and I have those JQ stickers from after Dad died because sometimes people ask me for one when they see it on my water bottle.
That would get through TSA.
I have snacks, always snacks. I gotta have snacks. Since I was pregnant, I used to eat at halftime, and now I still do. Plus snacks for the pregame because I'm there 90 minutes early, and it's always at dinner time, you guys. Always at dinner time. I'm a snacker. But
I see why
and then if I dress
on refs.
But the other part too is if I have to dress business casual to go to a game, I'm not wearing that shit home when I'm sweaty. Yeah. So I have a whole nother change of clothes in there and shoes because I usually wear like heeled boots because it's winter and I don't wear heels in my regular life. And so I'll wear like heeled boots and a full like heavy sweater or like a jacket or whatever. And then when I leave, I throw joggers and a sweatshirt on. So then all that stuff has to go back in the bag and everything, and tennis shoes because I didn't wear sneakers there.
It's the roller.
So, guys, it's a lot of stuff. And I know a lot of guys will like, when they do summer league, they'll just bring like a, bag with just their shoes. I'm like, I can't do it. I got to bring all the stuff. I got to keep my routine the same or I'll forget something.
Yeah. Or lose something.
Right.
Izzy told me something.
I'm extra. I'm for sure extra when it comes to my bag, but I'm also a woman. So I have hairspray. I have hairbrushes. I have hair clips.
Okay. You're not getting through TSA.
No, not that hairspray.
No, it's a mini hairspray.
Okay.
The pockets in mine aren't that big. It's like one big pocket and then a couple little.
Flammable. It can't go on the plane.
Even a little one?
I don't know.
I don't think I'm a very extra person, and I'm not like a girly girl, but when it comes to my ref bag, I'm just paranoid I'm going to lose something. Yeah. The worst part was when the button popped off my pants, I was pregnant. And it wasn't because I was pregnant. The button was loose. And then all of a sudden it popped off and I had a double. I had a back-to-back double. And I was like,
that's why you have a sewing kit.
Now I have safety pins. Yeah.
Well, that's a breakdown of what you can find.
Maybe not in someone else's, but
a referee.
And of course a rule book. I have and a mechanics book.
Of course.
I have all that stuff too. I have a college mechanics book. I have my high school rule book.
Sometimes I want to hand it to some of the refs. Mm-hmm. I keep it.
I actually keep one in my car too.
Have you ever been to doing that?
I've highlighted mostly the jersey stuff because that's where some of these guys and girls get. So I had that one like circled and then highlighted so I can say, hey, here's the actual rule.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of officials sometimes are like, man, I wish I had a rule book.
Well, because we have a lot of jerseys.
Well, we have access to it if you can subscribe on the app, the NFHS app, and you can and you can search, like keyword search.
Oh.
So that's helpful too.
Yep.
You guys do have a lot of jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any new ones this year?
I think we're up for new ones. So.
Yeah, I'm getting new ones this year too.
Coop's getting new ones too. His problem is he has black numbers on navy blue jerseys, or the other way around. Black jerseys, navy blue numbers.
Technically,
which is technically is legal, but he got teed up this year.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be. It says, well, there was and sometimes the rule book is confusing in the verbiage that it uses, mm-hmm. which is also a gripe of mine. But it has to do with like contrasting numbers, and so there was some. I guess it was thought to a lot of people that you needed to have at least like a gold outline or something so that it really was contrasting between the navy blue and the black. But as long as it's a different color, it's legal.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be contrasting colors.
Who created the black numbers on the navy?
John Pay. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Couldn't tell you. Or whoever orders jerseys at Menlo, because there's probably a person for that.
Well, we couldn't use our black set this year because it's like a black jersey and it's an orange outline for the number.
And you can't do that.
There's no like the
right. It's just black and black. Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't use those this year.
Yeah.
Scott Calvin told me just leave those in the closet. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Because you would
it's supposed to be a tee. No, really hardly anybody does it. Unfortunately, that's the problem. Inconsistent.
There was a league game. And the team were their alternates at home. And like my assistant coach was like, yeah, they can't wear those. That's a tee for each one of the things.
It's just a team.
It's just a team.
Yeah.
Well,
could you imagine if all 12 players got a tee?
I'm not going to say the team, but they ended up having to go back and put their whites on.
Mm-hmm.
What were they trying to wear at home? What color? The light blues?
Well, not our team.
Oh, a different team.
No, we were the away team.
Oh.
Another team.
What color? Was it at least a light color?
I can't tell you the color because it's another team.
Oh, okay.
Fair. Yeah.
Too easy.
They were not very happy when they had to go in and change.
Yeah.
At least they had the
Well,
white
you
to change.
used to be able to wear like orange at home or gold at home. Like when Coop was at Del Mar, they had a yellow set, and you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Got to be white at home.
I've gotten away with wearing orange at home, but yeah.
Because refs are inconsistent or refs are not in the rule book. It goes back to the fact that we need more refs.
Or maybe they like me and they just don't want to give me a tee.
I don't think that's it.
So should we go be refs too, right?
Yes.
Oh my God, no, I couldn't do it. People ask me all the time, like, why don't I ref? Because like
People ask me all the time, why don't you ref? They just assume because we look the same that we are the same.
we're so different.
Different.
I am like the thought of getting yelled at. Number one, I hate confrontation. I hate conflict in every aspect of my life. Coaching basketball is a little bit different. I feel like I can like teeter that line. But the thought of like reffing a game, also like, I don't want to blow the whistle. I want to make decisions. And like, you have to make decisions about what to call, what not to call.
You're making decisions every few seconds as a coach.
I know, but it's like, those are so easy. Or like, so like, I love those types of decisions. And like, I feel so in my element in a Friday night game on the sideline. There's just nothing like it.
But you're describing how I feel about officiating.
Yeah, I could never do it. And I also, like, I never thought that I could. Even when we were 16, reffing for John Arugio at the Campbell Community Center, like, I didn't want to make calls and I didn't like getting yelled at. And like, I'm still that same person. I don't want to make calls.
You call the plays and you yell at your players.
Yeah, I'll be the yeller. For sure, I'll be the yeller. And like, yeah, no, I could never.
It's a degrading yelling. I think especially too, like, I get everybody's different because I'm a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like the things that people say to me, they would never say to Izzy.
Yeah.
Or Nate Ramzani or Mark Gray. Like the things that I get.
Doing women's games or men's games or boys games?
I like it all. Boys games. High level boys games are really fun because it's above the rim and it's really athletic and it's really fast. Like WCAL boys games are so much fun, but WCAL girls games are so much fun. You know, my point in that is that like I am in a lot of gyms, especially a boys game, especially a WCAL boys game. I walk in the gym and immediately am disrespected. Just by people looking at me. They already assume I don't know what I'm doing.
A feeling that you get, or that is that like
it's both.
How do you measure that?
Well, when I go to a junior college game, for example, and I ask whoever it is to open the women's locker room for me so that I can get dressed, they're shocked because they thought I was there to play. I mean, and you probably get that all the time too.
Not as much, but yeah.
But like in almost every single high school boys game that I do, someone from the stands will yell at one point, "Go back to girls." At least once.
Oh, that's so disrespectful.
There are and Scott Calvin and I had a long conversation about this one time. There are so many men who just cannot accept a woman doing a men's game. They just can't. Their brains, it was done one way for so long and they just can't get over that hump of like accepting a woman doing a boys game.
I was thinking as you were saying that, because we always talk about some of the negative things or what is going on all the bad things and nobody ever has really solutions. I think every school should do a symposium and have like one of the officials come to talk to all of the parents and you could just do it with like if it's the winter season, the fall season or the spring season, you have one ref come out, probably a director, talk to the school and all the parents. Say, hey, here's the deal, guys. Like, you guys want your kids to play in sports and you want these games to happen. They're not going to continue to happen if this is the type of behavior that is going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you put a hard line on
what's acceptable and what's not.
Acceptable and what's not. And then the parents that are not really acquiescing to the rules, then they don't have to show. They don't have to. They don't get the privilege to be there.
Yeah, and it is a privilege to be there. It's not expected.
The other thing too is like school administrators. Sometimes like I've looked for school like I meet them before the game and I've looked for them during the game and can't find them. So the other thing is like when we feel supported, it's great. and we feel good, we work hard, but like, if we're constantly feeling unsupported, it's really hard to work hard in that situation. And we do have to work hard.
Yeah.
We have to stay in shape. We have to be in our rule book. Like, it's not just to show up after work and do some job and go home. Some people do it that way, but I don't. Like,
yeah. Well, and your mechanics are different. Your high school mechanics are different than your college mechanics.
Right.
And
yeah, rules are different. And
you think like the BBAL could set something up? Is that just seems like it would be a lot.
Didn't you guys do that once?
Yeah, so we did do it, and they brought in Nate Ramzani,
and they didn't help.
And I have
hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
Oh, I really didn't. I
Yeah.
feel like the girls program is okay. I hate to say it, but
true.
I feel like the negativity does come a lot from the boys program, and like I see it because I sit behind the bench sometimes and I watch, and I just kind of watch the parents and their reactions. And I don't pay attention to the girls' parents' reactions because I'm coaching the game at the time. But sometimes I'm like, oof, that's tough.
Yeah.
But I also think that as you were talking about like getting a ref to come out, I'm like, I have a ref in my family. I should probably bring her to one of my parent meetings. I have 2 parent meetings.
Yeah.
And at the first one is more about like tryouts and everything. But the second one, once the teams are made, it's like the first thing I say is like, we don't badmouth officials here because without officials, your kids can't play sports. Like youth sports do not exist. Professional sports do not exist without officials. And like, you may think that they're out to get you and this, that, and the other thing, but like they have their own jobs. They have their own families.
It's not our full-time job for the high school level.
Involved in the sport. And like, without them, like, maybe they suck. Yeah. And like, that does suck for us, but they're here, they're showing up, they're trying their best. They're not getting rich doing it.
Yeah.
And I try to remind my parents of that. And I feel like it maybe goes okay, but
I feel like I'm always trying to recruit. I'm always trying to recruit. I'm always like, you got any kids that are graduating next year and staying local?
No.
Do they want to come? Do they want to come officiate?
They don't want to. They've been yelling at you for years. They don't want to do it.
Yeah. But the other thing, just to like go back to like being a woman versus being a man in this setting, like we just talked about what happened at I have had coaches who talk around me. Instead of talking to me, they talk to my partner. Or instead of asking me a direct question, they ask them a question for me. Like AAU tournament this year, I'm coming off the court at halftime. This coach is screaming about something. I'm trying to explain something. He looks at my partner and loudly, so the whole half of the gym hears him, goes, "Is she okay?" And I go, "I'm fine. Are you okay?" But like, don't ask him if I'm okay.
Yeah. He wouldn't ask a man if another man was
exactly.
okay.
That would never happen. Or I've had some, you just need to calm down. You're too emotional right now. I'm just trying to talk to you. You're too emotional right now.
Who calms down when somebody says calm down? Like,
but also you would never tell a man he's being too emotional right now because he had a stake in what he was doing.
Yeah. Okay. But on the flip side of that, when Holm used to be my assistant coach, refs would always go to him, like go to shake. And when Dad was my assistant coach for Top Flight, refs would always go to him first. It's like they just assume. Yeah. And like Holm was really great about it. Dad was really great about it. Be like, oh no, that's the head coach right there. But like I do, not so much since having kids, but I did my first couple of years at Los Gatos definitely looked like I could have been arguably a manager on the team. And so I used to like really dress up and try to like
do when you walk in with your team and they're taller than you.
Well, yeah, because we're all the same height.
Yeah.
I'm like the average height of my team.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, like it's still sometimes I used to dress up, put a lot of makeup on and like really like present myself just so I didn't look like I was 17. Yeah. But still refs would mistake me for, they'd look around me or look. And then as soon as it like kind of dawned on them, they'd be like, oh, that is a grown person, not a teenager. But like it's hard.
Yeah. And I try to never assume who the coach is.
Yeah.
For that reason, because it used to happen to me when I was coaching for a hot second too. Like, but I just don't try to make any assumptions on anything because I hate when they're made about me.
Yeah.
And like I actually sometimes wonder how I'm still reffing based on the experiences that I've had.
Because you're a stay-at-home mom. It's your thing.
But I didn't used to be a stay-at-home mom when I started.
True.
And my first year working high school, it's an old white man's club that somehow I am in, and it's getting younger and it's getting more diverse, which is great. But I'll never forget this. My very first year, we were PSI then. Now we're BASA, but we were PSI. And my very first year, I was working a varsity game at Independence High School, a girls game. I didn't do the JV game. I got there to do the varsity game. My partner was an old white guy. He had done the JV game with somebody else, and he was going to do the varsity game with me. We always have pre-games. You've had officials on your show before. We talk about pre-games. It's really important to like set on a good foot, on a consistent foot together. We're talking in our pre-game, and he says to me, he's never met me. He doesn't know me from Adam. He's never seen me work a game before. He says to me, this is going to be above your comprehension, but I'm going to tell you anyways. And he like said some story about some play. Meanwhile, I've literally grown up in a basketball gym. My basketball IQ is incredibly high and has been my whole life because of how I grew up. Like, dude, you don't know anything about me or what my comprehension level is for this game.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, oh, okay, cool. It's like that.
So did you listen? What'd you say?
I don't remember what he said because I stopped listening. I felt so disrespected. And I already felt like I was in over my head at that time because I was so new. And like, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't really know what I was doing.
What would you say to him now?
It's interesting because I also don't like confrontation. I think that I would say like, why don't you just tell it to me and then I can let you know if it's above my comprehension level, you know? I think I'm getting better at doing that because it's happened so much. And what would happen then is I'd call my dad and complain about it after the game. And then he'd finally, or I'd say like, I should have teed this kid up or I should have teed this coach up. And finally my dad was like, Al, you have to stop calling me and telling me that you should have teed someone up. You just need to tee him up.
Yeah, just
like,
do it.
You're right. I do. And my dad could never understand why I was so disrespected. Like when I would tell him things that people said to me, he's like, you just can't let that fly. My dad, I'm like, Dad, I'm not you. I'm not
Steve Austin.
But I don't look like Stone Cold Steve Austin. My dad was 6'4" and like huge, like, and had a presence when he walked in a room. I don't have that, even though I'm tall.
You have a presence.
I now
just naturally because of being tall.
Now I do more, and I also just feel like I can have more conversations like with my partners during games because I'm more confident in my abilities than I was then. And at the time, once he started talking, I was like, shit, maybe this is above my comprehension level. It wasn't. I don't even remember what it was, but I know I understood it.
That just goes to show you that you have to take time and get better and work and figure stuff out. Yeah. And then, you also can't really take, first of all, you're not going to take advice from somebody that you don't respect or somebody that doesn't bring or add value to your life. So, because if they're subtracting or dividing from your life, you really don't need them in your life. Mm-hmm. So you would never take it. You would never take advice from somebody like that. Yeah. So, the people that you were closest with, those are the people that you should be seeking advice from, seeking guidance from, seeking to find more knowledge from. And those are the people that stretch you. Yeah. It's the people that can be honest with you in a situation that know who you are. Mm-hmm. I can't let anybody that doesn't actually know me affect me and how I move every single day. And some of the stuff you talked about is similar to stuff that, I would feel being Black in white environments where it wasn't, you asked her the question where it was like, how do you quantify that? Well, you can't because it's only a feeling that you get. Mm-hmm. There's been places where I've been at where something was said to me in a disrespectful manner. And because I'm in a place where I can't really react that way, I don't react that way. And I just kind of fall back and just allow the situation to play out instead of amplifying the situation, which you could have every right to do. But what is that? Burning it down really isn't going to help the situation either. So you not burning it down or just blacking out in that moment was probably the best thing because you just diffuse what was going on.
And that's the whole biggest thing as being an official is you're not supposed to react. You're not supposed to have feelings about what's said to you or done to you or all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's just, you're supposed to be seen, not heard. You're supposed to blend in. If no one remembers you did the game, that's good.
That's what John Arugio used to say.
Yeah.
If people remember the refs, it's usually not a good thing.
And most of the time you don't remember, like,
you might remember a call or something, but
and it's not.
If you think of a game that you had 4 months ago and you can't remember who officiated it, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be. I know I work with people all the time, like 3-man crews that will be like at a timeout, we'll be talking and they'll be like, I've been stuck in the slot, like the C. I've been stuck in the slot for 6 possessions in a row. I got to go get something. I got to go find something. Like, I'm not that official. I'm not going to go find something. I'm not going to insert myself into this game. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I had a score. JUCO games, it's always like the baseball team or, the men's basketball team that's doing the table. I had one baseball player one time at like Skyline go, can you not blow your whistle a lot tonight? We want to go home. And I was like, listen, kid, I want to go home too. I don't want to blow my whistle. Officials only have to blow their whistles when something is done incorrectly.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to keep it fair. We have to keep it legal. If the game goes on for 3-4 game minutes without us, that's a great game. That's a good thing. And so officials that feel the need to insert themselves into that are the problem.
Like, it's been a while. Let me blow my whistle.
Exactly.
And like,
I'm great. I'm like, cool. This is
from
great.
a fan perspective or a coach perspective. Sometimes I'm like, you just want to get in there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, the game was going too much for you, or the other guy made too many calls, and you were like, I just want to blow my whistle.
Yeah. Yep. And I just think like it's just unnecessary.
No doubt.
Yeah. I do love it though. It's my favorite thing.
We need to do a round 2 because you have a lot to say.
I told you.
See, you just got the camera going and then you just started talking. So.
That's because I haven't looked at it once.
But no, that was a really good conversation. I'd like to continue that. There's a lot of other things that I'd like to kind of ask you guys together. But I actually like the 3-person podcast. That actually, this is the first in-person 3-person. It might be the only. No, I had Giles and Alex on.
Yeah, that was Zoom though.
Early. But I like the 3-person setup, so that's
took the pressure off.
Yeah, so we'll have a round 2, but this was a great conversation. You have anything to say on the way out?
Thanks for having me and still letting me come, even though I said I would so many times. I didn't.
But I was like, we got baseball. It ends at like 7:30. Am I gonna be able to get home? And I'm like, I gotta do it because
Alex said yes.
I don't know if we're not gonna be able to get this on again.
I said to Ryan like an hour before I left in the kitchen, I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna go. He's like, shut up. I'm like, I know I'm going. I just don't want to.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have round 2 coming soon. And thank you to Sarah and Allie.
Thanks, Chris.
And we are on the outro.
Thank you for listening to the Beyond the Buckets podcast. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and share the show with your friends. And until next time, take care.